It's an unusual thing for me to read my work as a Kenyon Review writer. I know the poetry editor. Pretty sure he doesn't like my poems enough to put me in his magazine. So, about the magazine. People ask me why I do this work, why I have this job as the poetry editor of the Kenyon Review. It's not my job. I have a job. This is what I do in addition to my job. We read about 20,000 poems in 3 months in the last reading period. And it's a great privilege and honor to make those choices and to read that material and try to put something together. Here's why I do this job. I'm going to read a poem by a young woman. It's published in our May 2015 issue. The first selection of the first feature that we're going to do every year now of nature poetry, environmental poetry, eco-poetics. This is a poem by a woman. I published 4 of them by Alison Hutchcraft. Right? No book. She just sent the poems. The entire book of her poems, it's unpublished yet, is about a dodo. You would advise a young poet, maybe don't do that. And God damn it, she did it. Here's one of them. This is just one of them. So legged, so footed, and who's left to care? So legged, so footed, and who's left to care? So your days bottomed out. So your luck stuttered and stopped. So here, a foot. Here, a pinioned wing. So, ankle, thigh, and shoulder blade. So, here, your weight, the heft you heaved. So, tiny feathers cleaned out by spring. So, absolute, now bygone blur, your bottom in a bottomland, dead dodo of the morgue. So here, your head, your outsized brain, your stomach they called greasy, your throat that rang, so legged and footed, so loosed from one world. You used to sleep undone beneath the moon. Gun barrel moved like a mouth about to open wider. Got that? Alison Hutchcraft. That's why you do it. I'll read 2 more poems. These are mine. Alas. I try to work in the field also of the poem attentive to the green world sometimes. What is a weed? I'm bringing you a little news from Ohio where I live and where the Kenyon Review lives. What is a weed? This is about a bug, this poem. Emerald, as in the leaf of the ash, though nothing's burned, not yet, as the ash green, gray-green, fiery wingspan of the adult, whose bullet body and flat black eyes are less the way we know them than by the trees, by the death of the trees, by the millions. The adults emerge A. plenipenus of the genus Agrilis in May, June, July, then in bark crevices, between layers of diamond derma, females set their eggs whose larvae in a week bore back into the trees. They chew the phloem, they eat the inner body of the bark, creating winding galleries as they feed. This cuts the flow. of water nutrients to the tree. This causes dieback, causes death. What is a weed? What I saw was a tree. 1,000 trees in the village, more. But one at the point of the street corner lot where all summer I held my girl by the back of her bike and ran the green block down. The tree was obvious catalpa. Its long, 3-branching trunks splayed like a birch, whose shagbark white parchment skin is equally unmistakable. Leaves as big as a piece of paper, if the page were a heart or head of a spade, and pale green, foot-long at least, bean pods dangling like ropey toys. 3 trunks pushing from our one earth, equally thick, the same height, and then between 2 trunks of waving catalpa, I saw ash leaves, fist-sized but delicate, blooming from the 3rd. All over the village, the ashes are dying. Already dead, my tree friend says. The scourge, emerald borer, rode in on shipping crates. Asia via Lake Erie, 2002, they dated to the month. And in bundles of firewood, in luggage of travelers, in bedding plants, their radiant splay spread like wildfire, up Ontario, down through Ohio, Illinois, and now 7.5 billion ash trees, mountain white, Fraxinus americana, and blue, fragrant, Carolina, green, family of Oleaca, of opposite branching, of compound pinnate leaf, whose timber is wonderfully springy, excellent for oars and tools, and lends itself to steaming and turning as in bentwood furniture. They'll die, though some refer to them as trash. Trash, ash. What is a weed? And the answerer says, a plant that doesn't fit the local plan. In my personal doctrine of signatures, you can tell the emerald ash borer simply by its hole, the letter D, as it emerges from the hose. Each circle with its flattened edge or side, 100 or more, like buckshot on a tree sometimes, or on a tree braided to another tree. 2 catalpas growing with a 3rd. I pushed my daughter down the street, let go, and her laughter lit the waiting trees. Ash or trash, catalpa or oak, the neighborhood where she learned to fly. Then the trees grew wings. One more little one, brand new poem. And to say to Philip and Isabel and the writer's studio in the Strand, thank you. Dan and Laura, Kimiko and Lily, thank you. Kirsten reminds me, we're happy to sell you a subscription tonight to Kenyon Review. We have product, dudes. One last poem. Little one. Peril Sonnet. Where do you suppose they've gone? The bees. Now that you don't see them anymore. 4-winged among flowers. Low sparks in the clover, even at nightfall. Are they fanning? Have they gone another place, glued with pollen, stuck to their bristles? waiting beyond us. Spring dwindled is what we call it. Collapsing neonicotinoids, high level in pneumatic corn exhaust, or loss of habitat, or disappearing disease in the way of our kind, so to speak. What do you think they would call it? Language older than our ears. Were they saying it all along, even at daybreak? Thank you all.